Do you remember the first time you saw the volcano erupt at the Mirage? It felt like magic, didn't it? For decades, Las Vegas was the land of impossible dreams. But if you walk the Strip today, that magic feels different. The lights are brighter than ever, yet the soul of the city seems to have dimmed. We are witnessing a fundamental shift, not just a renovation, but a systematic dismantling of the Vegas you knew. Today, we dig into the numbers to find out why the entertainment capital of the world is seeing a massive transformation of iconic properties. For those of us who grew up with the Vegas of the 90s, the current reality hits hard. It's no longer about hospitality. It's about extraction. The friendly pit boss who knew your name has been replaced by facial recognition cameras. The cheap buffets designed to get you in the door are gone, replaced by luxury food halls priced for tourists who don't know better. The collective feeling on the ground is undeniable. We aren't guests anymore. We are just wallets waiting to be emptied. So, is this just bad luck? Or is it a systematic market shift that removes middle-class accessibility from the Vegas experience? Stick with me as we analyze 7 distinct shifts in the market. 7 iconic casinos that are either closing, crumbling, or transforming into unrecognizable corporate assets. From the zombie state of the Sahara to the controversial implosion of the Tropicana. Later, we will look at the specific financial report that explains why even profitable legends are being sacrificed. But first, let's talk about the specific casualty that started this domino effect. Part 1. The Mirage, the strategic shift. We start with the event that signaled the end of an era, the closure of the Mirage. When Steve Wynn opened this resort in 1989, it reinvented Las Vegas. But in 2022, Hard Rock International purchased the operations for a staggering $1.1 billion. Now the doors are shut, and the iconic volcano is slated for demolition to make way for a guitar hotel. The emotional narrative online is that they are killing a legend. However, if we look at the business reality, this is a cold, calculated move toward revenue density. Hard Rock's strategy prioritizes revenue optimization over historical preservation. The corporate argument is clear. The Mirage was aging. Its infrastructure was from a different century, and maintenance costs were climbing. Hard Rock argues that to survive in 2025 and beyond, a property must be a modern, integrated resort, not a nostalgia trip. They're pivoting away from the theme park era of Vegas toward the luxury mall era, where every square foot must yield a high return. But here is the hard truth analysis. The Mirage was sacrificed because its business model relied on loss leaders, free attractions like the volcano designed to draw crowds who might gamble. In the new dark economics of the Strip, free entertainment is considered a waste of prime real estate. The volcano didn't generate direct revenue per square foot. A high-rise hotel room does. This isn't malice. It is a significant cultural shift, where the vibe of Vegas is being traded for efficiency. The new owners are betting that you will pay premium prices for a generic luxury experience, rather than visit for the unique character that made the Mirage famous. They aren't just renovating a building, they are erasing a philosophy that prioritized the guest experience over maximum extraction. Part 2. The Tropicana. The public investment debate. If the Mirage represents a corporate pivot, the implosion of the Tropicana highlights a much more controversial issue: the allocation of public funds. After 67 years, the Tiffany of the Strip was leveled in October 2024. But it wasn't just cleared for a newer casino. It was cleared to build a baseball stadium for the Oakland A's. Here is where the data gets contentious. This project involves $380 million in public funding. Officials argue that bringing a Major League Baseball team to Vegas will diversify the economy and boost tourism jobs. They claim the Tropicana was past its prime, which is factually true, and that the stadium will be a new economic engine for the county. However, this raises a serious public investment debate. We are seeing a historic, tax-generating private asset being replaced by a venture that requires a massive taxpayer subsidy to exist. Locals aren't necessarily angry that an old building is gone. They are skeptical about the financial logic. Why should public money subsidize a private sports franchise when the city's infrastructure and schools need support? The destruction of the Tropicana isn't just a sad day for history. It is a glaring example of how Vegas is shifting from a gambling-first economy to a sports entertainment economy funded by the taxpayer. It validates the feeling that the Strip is being re-engineered for global tourists and corporate partnerships, while the local resident is left to foot the bill. The financial trade-off here is significant and debatable. It signals that the city's priority is no longer the organic growth of its gaming industry, but rather the importation of external franchises at any cost. Part 3. The Venetian. The optimization trap. Moving down the Strip, we arrive at the Venetian. This isn't a closure, but something potentially more concerning. A hollowed-out operation. In 2022, Apollo Global Management acquired the operating rights for $6.4 billion. Since then, reports from visitors and staff suggest a drastic change in atmosphere. The situation is subtle but pervasive. Frequent guests report understaffed pits, closed gaming sections during off-peak hours, and a general decline in maintenance standards. Apollo would argue this is standard operational efficiency. In a high-interest rate environment, carrying billions in debt requires lean operations. They are streamlining costs to ensure the asset remains profitable in a volatile market. But this brings us to the optimization trap. Private equity firms operate on a different timeline than traditional casino moguls. Their goal is often to maximize short-term cash flow to service debt and prepare for a future exit. This is a classic private equity playbook. Acquire a premium asset, slash operational overhead, and boost margins on paper. The ugly truth is that when you optimize a luxury resort too aggressively, you strip away the illusion of luxury. The Venetian was built on excess, frescoes, canals, and impeccable service. By cutting staff and optimizing maintenance, the new owners risk turning a palace into a premium property with reduced operational investment. The prices remain high, but the value proposition collapses. It becomes a shell of its former self, designed to extract maximum daily rates with minimum operational overhead. The soul of the service is cut to feed the bottom line. Part 4. Horseshoe/Bally's. The brand leverage failure. Next, we arrive at the center of the Strip to examine a case study in what financial analysts call low-capex rebranding. This is the story of Bally's transformation into the Horseshoe. On the surface, this move by Caesars Entertainment seemed brilliant. Replace a tired, generic brand with the legendary Horseshoe name, synonymous with serious gambling and the World Series of Poker. However, the reality on the casino floor tells a much different story about corporate priorities. While the signage is new and the poker room has been refreshed to host the World Series, reports from guests paint a picture of partial neglect. Walk past the poker room and you are often greeted by the same worn carpets, the same slow elevators, and the same aging plumbing that plagued Bally's for years. The Jubilee Tower, now renamed, received minimal updates compared to the standards of modern luxury resorts. This disconnect happens because the parent company, Caesars Entertainment, is navigating a massive debt load. In this financial climate, tearing down and rebuilding is too expensive. Instead, they opted to leverage brand equity to mask physical deterioration. They are selling you the prestige of the Horseshoe legacy, but they are housing it in a building that is physically tired. The tragedy here is the gap between expectation and reality. The Horseshoe name implies a premium, old-school gambler's paradise, but without the capital expenditure to fix the bones of the building, the rebrand feels superficial. It creates a jarring experience, where the marketing promises high-stakes excitement, but the environment screams budget management. It is a clear signal that for the corporate giants, the value of a property now lies in its intellectual property, specifically the database of poker players and trademark, not in the quality of the carpet under your feet. They are monetizing the name while managing the decline of the asset itself.
Part 5. The Sahara.
The location insolvency. Further north, we encounter the Sahara, a property that serves as a brutal lesson in real estate economics. This casino has suffered through a severe identity crisis, first stripped of its history to become the SLS, and then, after that failed, rebranded back to the Sahara with a $150 million renovation by the Meruelo Group. On paper, the new Sahara is stunning. The design is modern, the restaurants are high-end, and the pool deck is beautiful. Yet, if you walk the floor on a Tuesday night, the energy is often eerily quiet. It has been described by locals as a zombie casino, alive, functioning, but lacking a pulse. The problem here isn't the product. It is location insolvency. The Sahara sits on the northern edge of the Strip, separated from the bustling center by massive construction voids and empty lots. The psychological distance from the Encore and Wynn to the Sahara is immense. In the Vegas heat, tourists simply do not walk that far. The monorail station helps, but it hasn't been the lifeline the owners hoped for. This situation reveals a harsh truth about the modern Strip. Capital cannot fix geography. You can pour millions into marble floors and crystal chandeliers, but if you are disconnected from the human herd of tourists, you cannot generate the necessary foot traffic to thrive. The Sahara stands as a beautiful, lonely monument to the sunk cost fallacy. The belief that if you just spend enough money, the customers will come. But in the ruthless ecosystem of Las Vegas, where density drives revenue, being an island is a death sentence. It proves that even a billionaire's budget cannot rewrite the fundamental laws of urban foot traffic. Part 6. The Strat. The Bifurcated Asset. Continuing our journey to the far north, we reach the Strat, formerly the Stratosphere. This property represents a unique and somewhat depressing phenomenon in the current market: the bifurcated asset. The Strat effectively operates as two completely separate businesses under one roof, and they are moving in opposite directions. Above, you have the observation tower, the tallest in the US, which remains a cash cow. It attracts thrill seekers and sightseers who pay for the view and the rides. It is a successful tourist trap in the truest sense. Below, however, lies a casino floor that feels forgotten. Visitors frequently describe the gaming area as a time capsule of the early 2000s, with low ceilings, aging machines, and a palpable lack of energy. Why this stark contrast? It comes down to the neighborhood. The area immediately surrounding the Strat, often referred to as the Gateway District or Naked City, has struggled with safety and crime issues for decades. This environment creates a value trap. The Strat offers some of the lowest room rates in Vegas, often advertising prices that seem too good to be true. But high-value gamblers, the whales that casinos covet, refuse to stay there due to safety concerns. As a result, The ownership has seemingly made a strategic decision to minimize investment in the casino floor. They know their ROI comes from selling $30 elevator tickets, not from blackjack drop. The Tower of Sadness isn't sad because it's empty. It's sad because it clearly shows that the owners have given up on the dream of it being a premier gambling destination. It has become a ticket booth with a hotel attached, surviving only because the view from the top is too good to ignore. Part 7. Downtown Vegas, Binions and El Cortez. The generational displacement. Finally, we travel to where it all began, Fremont Street. For decades, places like Binion's Gambling Hall and El Cortez were the guardians of authentic Vegas. They promised single-deck blackjack, liberal rules, and a gritty cowboy charm that you couldn't find on the Strip. But today, these icons are facing a threat more dangerous than competition: generational displacement. The opening of Circa Resort and Casino, a massive, adults-only luxury resort downtown, changed the gravity of Fremont Street. Circa proved that you could charge Strip prices downtown if you offered a club atmosphere. This has put immense pressure on the historic venues to adapt or die. Binion's, the birthplace of the World Series of Poker, has already surrendered a huge part of its identity. Its hotel tower has been closed for years. It is now essentially a museum you can gamble in. Meanwhile, El Cortez, the longest continuously operating casino in Vegas, is fighting a constant battle to modernize its infrastructure without alienating the seniors who have played there for 40 years. The hard truth is that the gambling economy of downtown is being replaced by the experience economy. The younger crowds flocking to Fremont Street are there for the zip lines, the loud bands, and the Instagram photos, not to grind out hours at a poker table. This demographic shift is forcing the old guard into an impossible choice: erase their history to appeal to the TikTok generation, or gradually lose market competitiveness as their loyal customer base literally dies off. The closure of these spaces feels personal because it signifies the final end of the Wild West era of Las Vegas, replaced by a sanitized, high-cost version of nostalgia. So, where does this leave us? Is the Las Vegas we loved truly dead? Not exactly. History teaches us that Vegas is a city of constant, brutal reinvention. What we are witnessing right now is not necessarily the end, but the absolute peak of a specific corporate cycle: the efficiency cycle. In this phase, corporations buy assets, strip mine them for value, and push prices until the market breaks. We have seen this before. But here is the silver lining: markets essentially self-correct. The dark economics we've discussed rely entirely on one variable: your willingness to pay. As long as tourists accept hidden fees and 6 to 5 blackjack payouts, the optimization trap will continue. However, we are already seeing early signs of visitor fatigue in online forums and travel reports. When the spreadsheet models stop balancing because the customers have walked away, the pendulum will inevitably swing back. If prices get too high and the experience becomes too hollow, the market forces a correction. Hospitality will have to return because empty luxury hotels generate zero revenue. The corporations may own the land, but you, the customer, own the demand. The old Vegas of $1 shrimp cocktails may be gone forever, but a new Vegas that respects the customer can emerge, but only if we vote with our wallets. Now I want to hear from you. We've covered 7 massive shifts, from the implosion of the Tropicana to the slow fade of the stratosphere. Which one of these changes feels like the biggest personal loss to you? Is Vegas dead to you? Or do you believe it can reinvent itself once again? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one to understand the real sentiment on the ground. If you appreciated this deep dive into the business reality behind the neon lights, please hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us keep bringing you the hard truths that others won't cover. Thanks for watching.